The best way to make someone regret losing you has nothing to do with posting carefully curated photos or showing off a new version of yourself to make them jealous. It's not about playing games or trying to prove anything, because real regret doesn't come from what you show them. It comes from what you stop doing, from the person you become when you're no longer trying to keep them. You're trying to make it happen, but because it's the natural consequence of you choosing yourself. Before we start, like the video and subscribe to LifeBased for more insights about the patterns shaping your life and relationships. Let's get into it. Number 1, you stop reaching out completely. The moment you stop initiating contact, something shifts. Because when you were the one always reaching out, always checking in, always keeping the connection alive, they got comfortable. They knew you'd be there. They knew you'd make the effort, so they didn't have to. But when you stop, when the texts stop coming, when the calls stop happening, when you're not showing up in their notifications anymore, that's when the absence becomes real. And real absence creates real regret. As long as you're still there, still available, still making it easy for them, there's nothing to miss. They have access to you whenever they want it. But the second that access disappears, the second you're truly gone, that's when the panic sets in. That's when they start wondering what you're doing, who you're with, why you're not reaching out anymore. And that void makes them realize that you were the one holding the connection together. And now that you're not, it's gone. The psychology behind this is simple. People don't value what's always available. They value what they might lose. And when you remove yourself completely, you force them to confront the reality that you're no longer an option. That safety net they had, the person they could always come back to, doesn't exist anymore. And that realization, that finality, that's what triggers genuine regret. Number 2, you focus entirely on yourself and your own growth. When you stop putting energy into someone who didn't value you and redirect all of that energy back into yourself, you transform. Not because you're trying to prove anything, but because you finally have the space and energy to become who you're supposed to be. You focus on your goals, your health, your passions, your peace, and that focus creates results. Real, visible results. And those results are impossible to ignore. This is actual growth, the kind that happens when you're not distracted by someone who doesn't deserve your attention. You start working on things you put off. You invest in yourself. You build something real. And the version of you that emerges from that process is someone they don't recognize, someone stronger, more focused, more whole. And that's threatening, because they lost you when you were still trying to make it work. They have no claim to the version of you that's thriving without them. You'll see this create regret when they hear about what you're doing, when mutual connections mention how well you're doing, when they see evidence that you're not just surviving without you, you're actually doing better. Because it confirms that their absence didn't destroy you, it freed you. And most people assume that if they leave, you'll be devastated. They expect you to fall apart, to show them through your pain how much they mattered. And when that doesn't happen, when you're genuinely okay, it shatters the narrative they created. Because if you're happy without them, it means they weren't as important as they thought. And your happiness without them proves they're not irreplaceable. You'll notice this hits them hardest when they see you laughing, enjoying life, surrounded by people who actually value you. When they realize you're not just sitting around thinking about them, you're living, fully. And that life doesn't include them anymore, and didn't need to, because you found happiness in other places, with other people, within yourself. And that happiness, that genuine contentment, that's what makes them question everything. Whether they made the right choice, whether letting you go was the biggest mistake they ever made. Number 4, you don't badmouth them or seek revenge. When someone loses you and expects you to lash out, to talk badly about them, to try to hurt them the way they hurt you, and you don't, it messes with their head. Because most people respond to loss with anger, with bitterness, with attempts to damage the other person's reputation. But when you take the high road, when you don't engage in any of that, when you simply move on with grace, it makes them respect you. And respecting someone you lost makes the regret so much worse. This isn't about being fake nice or pretending you weren't hurt. It's about refusing to give them the satisfaction of knowing they affected you enough to make you bitter. It's about protecting your own peace instead of trying to destroy theirs. And that restraint, that maturity, that's powerful. Because it shows you're not controlled by what happened. You're not stuck in the past trying to get even. You've moved forward. You'll see this create regret when they hear from others that you didn't say anything bad about them, that you handled the situation with class, that you didn't try to turn people against them, because it makes them realize you were the bigger person, the better person, and they let that person go. And that realization that they lost someone who loved them enough not to destroy them even after being hurt, that's a regret that doesn't go away. Number 5. You give to others what you used to give to them. When you take all the love, effort, and energy you were giving to someone who didn't value it and redirect it to people who do, the contrast becomes obvious. You're still the same caring person, still thoughtful, still showing up for people, but now you're doing it for people who recognize it, who reciprocate, who don't take it for granted. And those relationships flourish, because when care is reciprocated, it multiplies. People notice. They see you thriving in connections where you're valued, and they see the difference between how you were treated and how you're being treated now. And you'll see this hit them when they hear about how good you are to the people in your life now, how you show up, how you care, how you make people feel valued. And they'll remember that they had that you were that person for them, but they didn't appreciate it. They didn't reciprocate. They took it for granted. And now someone else gets to experience the best parts of you, the parts they had access to but never valued. And knowing they lost something rare and lost it because they didn't treat it right, that's a regret that never fully goes away. These 5 things make people regret losing you because they're not about revenge. They're not about playing games. They're about genuinely moving forward, about choosing yourself, about building a life so full and so good that their absence doesn't leave a hole. It just leaves space for better things. And when someone sees that you didn't just survive without them, but actually thrived without them, that's when the regret becomes unavoidable. Because it proves that losing you wasn't your loss, it was theirs. If you found this helpful, like the video and subscribe to LifeBased for more insights about the patterns shaping your life and relationships. Thanks for watching.